My name is Sophia. I am 20 years old. It all started during my junior year of college. I was young, full of dreams and hopes, and I fell head over heels for Alex. He was charming, funny, and seemed to understand me in ways no one else did. Our relationship felt like a fairy tale, filled with laughter, late-night talks, and plans for the future. But, as life often teaches us, fairy tales can quickly turn into nightmares. One evening, I stumbled upon a message on Alex's phone that shattered my world. It was a text from another girl, one that revealed a secret I never wanted to uncover. He had been unfaithful.
In that moment, my heart felt like it was being ripped apart. I confronted him, tears streaming down my face, my voice shaking with hurt. "How could you do this to me?" I cried, feeling the walls of my world crumble around me. He apologized, of course, but his words felt empty, echoing in the hollowness of my heart. I walked away that night, believing that I would never be able to forgive him.
I found myself consumed by anger and sadness. I isolated myself from friends, drowning in my thoughts. I replayed every moment of our relationship, searching for signs I had missed, clues that could have warned me of the betrayal. I remember one particularly dark night, lying on my bed, feeling utterly alone. I thought about how love had turned into pain, how trust had transformed into betrayal. I felt like a ghost in my own life, haunted by memories that refused to fade. I would sit alone in my room, staring at the wall, wondering how someone I loved so deeply could cause me so much pain. Friends would call, but I couldn't muster the energy to talk. I felt like I was trapped in a deep, dark hole, and the walls were closing in. Days turned into weeks, and while my friends tried to lift my spirits, I couldn't shake the feeling of betrayal. I became bitter and resentful. I thought time would heal me, but instead, it just deepened my wounds.
6 months later.
I was at a coffee shop, trying to distract myself with a book, when I heard a familiar voice. It was Alex. My heart dropped, and I felt a rush of emotions, anger, sadness, and confusion, all swirling together like a storm. He approached me, looking nervous and regretful. "Can we talk?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I hesitated, my heart racing. I wanted to scream, to tell him how much he hurt me, but something held me back. Perhaps it was the longing for closure or the curiosity of what he had to say. I nodded, and we found a quiet corner. The air was thick with unspoken words, and I could feel my heart pounding in my chest. As we sat across from each other, I felt that familiar ache in my chest. He started to speak, his voice trembling. "I've thought about you every day since we broke up. I realize now how much I hurt you, and I'm truly sorry." I looked into his eyes, searching for sincerity. "You broke my heart, Alex. You shattered my trust," I replied, my voice cracking. "Do you have any idea what that felt like? The pain, the loneliness?" He looked down, shame washing over his face. "I know. I was stupid and selfish. I didn't appreciate what I had until it was gone. I've changed, and I wish I could take it all back." As he spoke, I began to see a glimpse of the person I had fallen in love with. He wasn't just the boy who hurt me. He was a person who had made mistakes and was now seeking redemption. After our conversation, I spent days reflecting on what forgiveness really meant. It wasn't about excusing his behavior, it was about freeing myself from the anger that was suffocating me. I realized that holding on to resentment was like carrying a heavy backpack filled with stones. Each stone represented the pain, anger, and hurt I felt. But what if I could lighten my load? What if I could choose to let go of those stones, one by one? I began to write in my journal every night, pouring my feelings onto the pages. I wrote about my anger, my sadness, and the moments of joy we shared. It was cathartic, and slowly, I started to feel lighter. I made a decision to forgive Alex, not because he deserved it, but because I deserved peace. I began to practice forgiveness in small steps. I stopped replaying the hurtful memories and focused on the good times we shared.
As time passed, I noticed a shift within myself. I started to heal. I reconnected with friends, pursued my passions, and embraced new experiences. Forgiveness felt like a weight lifting off my shoulders. I learned that forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, it means letting go of the hold that pain has on you. It means choosing to move forward, even if the past still lingers. One afternoon, I found myself smiling at a memory of Alex, a genuine moment that reminded me of why I loved him in the first place. That's when I knew I had truly begun to forgive him. Months went by, and I found myself in a much better place. But I had one last encounter with Alex that would solidify my healing. He reached out again, wanting to meet. My heart raced, but this time, I felt ready. We met at the same coffee shop, the place where it all began. This time, I felt calm. We talked about our lives, our dreams, and the lessons we learned. I could see the changes in him, and I realized that I had changed too. In that moment, I understood that forgiveness doesn't mean we have to rekindle a romantic relationship, it means releasing the past and allowing ourselves to grow. As we parted ways, I felt a sense of closure wash over me. I had forgiven him, and more importantly, I had forgiven myself. So, if you find yourself in a similar situation, remember that it's okay to feel hurt and angry. Allow yourself to grieve, but know that healing is possible. Forgiveness is a journey, and it takes time, patience, and self-love. You are stronger than your heartache, and you have the power to choose peace over pain. Allow yourself the grace to heal, and in time, you may find that forgiveness can lead to unexpected growth and understanding. If you found this story meaningful, please consider subscribing to our channel for more emotional tales that inspire and uplift. Your support helps us create more content that resonates with hearts around the world.